We think we're connected, but when you really stop and take notice, watch something happen in your life and see who you're really connected to. But then also look at those connections and see why people are connected to you. Many times it comes with a cost. People expect something from you through connection. People expect something out of you because of the moments of connection, whatever that may be. But are you truly connecting with people freely, with a heart to serve? I think that's the key, is not what you get, it's finding that place of where you fit. So I'm excited. Anybody that has a conversation wants to jump into this, how this conversation affected you about connection. Matt, I know you were early on talking about this from the perspective of the church and how we shift and change and interact with people who both are believers and not believers. So I'd love to hear your take.
Well, the interesting thing was, Anthony, we went from connection to the word access. And as we were having this dialogue, as we went further in the discussion, I just started to hammer away on my keyboard, really understanding the strength when you do make yourself accessible. But then, as I've interpreted some of the things that I've thought through as we've been going, the growth that comes in relationship because you have created a gap and space for yourself to be accessible. Pastorally, I put on the hat also of wanting to help caution people. We do need to make ourselves accessible. That's the only way evangelical discipleship and truth is going to be proclaimed, because we'd be living isolated other than that. But some of the pitfalls I thought of too, like if you're not carefully navigating how much access you are to someone, the influence of your own mindset, you have to be firm in your faith and understand there is a safe amount of access you give. And then there's a place where you do draw a line of like, no, this influence is influencing me. And I think oftentimes a believer will hold the fact of like, no, God's on my side. I'll never slip. I'll never fall. I'm sure footed. Well, that's a great and a positive attitude, but understand the impact on your decision making that, and Jim Rohn says this, right? You show me those five people you spend the most time with, and I will show you your future. That is true pastorally. Like, you can't always live in the slum of sin and think it's not going to have a tainting influence on you. So as we talked about access, we talked about the strength side of what it is. I penned the thought and understanding of really is, if it is the same as relationship, it's not. It is the gap so that relationship can take place. It's the entry point of mentorship. And what we need to understand then is the further influence you have in growing that as the person that you've allowed access into what you know, who you are, and where you're going, the ability to grow with you. So, two other points I wrote here, I'll just give them real quick because really this isn't my platform, but
It is at the
your,
moment.
your okay, your energy drain, right? Toxic relationships are the thing that drain us most emotionally, spiritually. They even turn us from where we were in our faith. So granting access to individuals who are though negative or manipulative, or like I already said, they're just that draining. They zap everything out of you. Even they take your enthusiasm. Then there's a conversation of measuring the alignment of values. You're going to allow access, but you're allowing access for you to bring God honoring, Christ characteristics and influence to that space. So alignment of values happens. And if they don't align with you, you got to recognize, man, these are not just going to lead to conflict or misunderstandings, but they are going to pull you from that stronghold and that place you have in Christ when you're anchored into the understanding of your both emotional and your spiritual relationship is determined on these boundaries. So you do need to give that access. So then the other is this future trajectory. Where are you going? So we understand, as I just mentioned, that quote, but while access is powerful to building relationships, we have to also understand it has a detrimental consequence if we don't exercise it with prudence and understanding.